All right, so I shouldn't do this video, but I want to get it out there before the game starts, so I can either get ridiculed for my bad take, or I can be right and say I'm right again. So anyway, I have a picture of Anton Chigurh, played by Javier Bardem from the movie No Country for Old Men. I just recently read the book. The movie is much better. His character says in both the book and the movie, if the rule you followed brought you to this, of what use was the rule? So I kind of have a saying with my co-manager about Thursday night football is never trust Thursday night football. So if we can avoid it, we will avoid playing anybody on Thursday night games. It's just they're really unpredictable. They add in an extra variable being the short week, and the games could be really sloppy, or they could be really out of hand. There's just really no way to know. So for the most part, we avoid it. Unfortunately, we have Darren Waller in this game, and the conversation was had about benching him for Dalton Kincaid because of the Dawson Knox news that Dawson Knox might be out this week. And eventually we decided that if we're going to play the matchup game with Darren Waller, that means that we don't have a sub Kelsey tight end. We need to trade Waller, move on, and either find an upgrade or just play the field. And eventually we said, well, we spent on Darren Waller. We're going to play Darren Waller, right? So the idea behind this is be careful about following into the narrative. The narrative being, this is going to be a San Francisco bloodbath because the Giants are bad and San Francisco's really good. And the rule is, never trust Thursday night football. If the rule you follow brought you to this, of what use was the rule, right? So someone mentioned in the chat a while back, or the comments, that this channel is heavily based off game theory stuff, and it is. So the idea is, like, we create these rules for how we play games, and no one else is required to play by these rules, but we nonetheless stick to them. So in this case, like, I want to throw my take out there about how this game, in my mind, is going to play out and how it's going to affect fantasy. So anyway, the Giants played this really emotional, physical comeback game on Sunday, and the Rams hung around the 49ers. Which was not expected, because remember, the Rams were supposed to be like unbelievably bad and tanking for Caleb Williams, and now they might actually have a chance, or not. I wouldn't say a chance. Like they're looking like they're a playoff team. They look like they're going to have one of the best offenses in football, right? Awesome. Got some emails. So anyway, the Giants are going to make this game as slow and ugly as possible. Saquon's out. They probably can't get into a gunfight with the 49ers. The 49ers don't particularly want to get in a gunfight. That's just not how they're designed either. So this game is going to probably really be just not particularly interesting to watch. And the Giants making this slow and ugly, this brawl, this knife fight, it gives them the best chance to win. And the other thing to remember from the 49ers side about how they would be able to take this game apart is their best downfield threat, their best like true receivers, Brandon Ayuk, he's out, right? So that's going to narrow the 49ers' ability to put pressure on the Giants defense, right? And their next best vertical option in all this is George Kittle, who's also one of the best blocking tight ends in football. And the 49ers also don't have a grinder for a running back. They have Christian McCaffrey, obviously like one of the best running backs in football, if not the best right now. And if I think grinder, I think like end of career Frank Gore, where he's just going to get you that 3.7 yards every single play. And McCaffrey's kind of not that guy. He's not designed to be that guy. It goes back to that Roschon Johnson Bijan conversation. Like, I would rather have Roschon grinding me out that 3.7 than Bijan trying to grind me out that 3. They're different personalities. And even the number 2 running back for the 49ers, Elijah Mitchell, is not a grinder type. So like that personality type for the 49ers, like that back that you would hope that they would have, that the guy does the dirty work. It's probably like maybe Kyle Juszczyk, would be the closest that they have. Like, they just don't have that guy for this type of game. And, it's going to force Debo probably into this role where he has to play that vertical threat, where he's less effective for those like shorter yak routes, and his ability to get into the running game. He might actually be a better grinder than McCaffrey. So like it's going to force people to be playing roles that they shouldn't be playing. And that again allows the Giants to be back into the game. And from the Giants perspective, like, they're supposed to have this slightly upgraded defense. That's kind of how they played last year, is they just hung around games and they gave themselves an opportunity to win late. They don't have Saquon Barkley this game. That may actually help them, because the game plan for the 49ers probably would have been to take away Saquon and have Daniel Jones beat them. Well, now you're just going to say, well, what are you going to do? You're going to take away Daniel Jones. Giants paid Daniel Jones $40 million to put the team on his back. And now you have these three running backs, Breda, Brightwell, and Eric Gray, the rookie, and you've just said, hey, how about you guys go out and win us this football game? Like, there's no pressure on you guys. Daniel Jones has to put the team on his back. He's got like Hyatt and Hodges, and the big guy this year, and I have him pulled up to show Darren Waller. Darren Waller is supposed to stretch the middle of the field and take pressure off a lot of things. Like, they're kind of designed to already like pull Fred Warner out of the box, chasing a sub Kelsey tight end vertical down the seam. Okay, like, that's an interesting thought. So like, if Waller is the guy that we thought he was going to be, or potentially could be, to really be in that top tier of tight ends, like, that's why we're going to play him. Like, this is the same reason, the same thought process I had when I started the season with Kenny Pickett as my quarterback, where it's like, well, if I'm paying this guy, or if I used capital to go get Kenny Pickett because I believe that there's a chance that he could outperform his ADP, I'm not going to sit him against a bad matchup, because that means I don't have a starting quarterback. So I put my money where my mouth is. I failed. I lost. I was wrong. I can move forward because now I know. Same thing with Darren Waller. Like, I'm going to find out tonight if he's my tight end or not. I'm going to know his true value. If I screw around and I go, well, Dawson Knox has the better matchup. If I overthink it and I get cute and I play Dawson, or not Dawson Knox, Dalton Kincaid. If I get cute and I play him, I'm going to be doing that all season. I'm going to be like, oh, maybe I can get like 2.7 points more if I put this guy, or what about this matchup, or this guy's shadowing this guy across the field. Like, that's the part of fantasy that there is some interesting parts to that. But like, if you build a better roster, that your bench is getting in the way of you being able to put a lineup together, those are the pieces that you should be putting on someone else's team to get their big pieces to make a better lineup. Like, when we get into playoffs, we want to have this lineup that is so locked and loaded and ready to go that we're not making those decisions, right? Like, we're more concerned with injuries than we are like, who do I play in this matchup? We want matchup proof guys that are going to go out there and put elite totals out there. So like, this is part of a different video that I was thinking about today, is once we have those guys that are supposed to be elite, they're supposed to win us all our weeks. Once they have a week that is not elite, that's like not even a 40-degree day, we probably have an issue. And past behavior is a best predictor of future behavior. Once a guy has a bad day, we have to look at why he has a bad day, because other teams are going to go, why did he have a bad day? And they're going to repeat that formula, especially if they can. So in this case, like I said, like, be careful of the narratives that are forming. Oh, the 49ers are going to go out there and beat the Giants. Well, they could, and I could eat crow, but how does that matter from a fantasy perspective? Like, how is the sausage made? This is not going to be a particularly good game. I can't see how the Giants were going to go out there with the 49ers and put their genitalia on the table and say, like, let's measure it out. Like, they're not going to win a game that way. And that hurts, because if you can't get into that type of game for the 49ers, they're not going to get spike plays. They're not going to get, their defense is not going to get points. And now you're in a game where don't trust Thursday night football. To finish, like I said, if the rule you follow brought you to this, of what use was the rule? Thursday night football, I tend to not trust it. But you should trust the players that you put your money into, because you already believed in them. So anyway, just me rambling. Maybe I'll come up with something later.